friends and family, and our fellow nerds. Welcome back to the Fail Squad Plays Starfinder. Now, our players have survived Episode 1, escaping a massive starship in what could only be described as a sketchy medical facility. No offense, Alora Toshka. And you, the listeners, have survived our shitty audio quality. We hope that'll be changing soon. We've got some plans to make the pod bigger and better in the future, but just like our ill-equipped heroes, we're going to venture forth, hoping for the best. And Kai, Hero of the Night, brought a microphone in order to hopefully get the quality up a little bit. Our party, consisting of a crazed, unstable Skittermander,
What?
which is a kind of a blue-furred cross between a goblin and a teddy bear, only known currently as Skittles, and played by my amazing wife, Miranda.
That's the best description I've ever heard.
Thank you very much. A massive 12-foot-tall Shobad warrior, Jun to call, with 4 arms, grayish skin, and razor-sharp tusks.
Hi, everybody.
Played by my good friend of many years, Drew. A smooth-talking, tiny rat humanoid, and quite possibly the only moral compass of our crew. Yomi the Isoki, played by newcomer to our group, but quickly beloved, Kai. The sharp-eyed, reserved Riforian female, an almost elven-like race, played by my longtime friend, Tim.
Hi.
And we've got... and last but certainly not least, the Kasathan female, Alora Toshka, whose name I'm spelling differently now, just so I can read it and try and pronounce it correctly. The good doctor duped into operating on all of our known party members, played by my brother from another mother, Mike.
Goddamn right.
Now, they've all crash-landed on an unbeknownst planet, have restored power to their broken and battered ship, the aptly named Nosedive, which I could not write that. Congratulations, you all. And preparing to venture forth into the unknown. And I'm your host with the most sadistic tendencies that's been tasked with being the game master. I'm Evan. What's up? A little bit about us. We've all been friends for many, many years now.
Nice, me.
Well, I'll get to you, Kai. Trust me. Now, but yeah, so I've known Drew, Tim, Miranda since high school. I won't say my age. Mike is my good friend that I've met through Miranda. And yeah, Kai is relatively new to our get-togethers. Gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong, but Mike, you met Kai at Marimba Band, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Mike had mentioned Kai would be interested in playing before we had any intentions of recording, and Kai showed up to every get-together, every pre-session to determine party structure, and he's put up with us. So Kai, thank you for your dedication and your friendship. You've been an absolute delight, and thank you for this microphone. I did not know you were bringing it tonight, so thank you so much. Round of applause, but actually clap, because that'll be terrible. Terrible on.
I already did.
Now, yeah, there we go. Snaps. All right. So, if I remember correctly, you were all just at the cargo doors, about to open them up.
I believe so.
Everyone was eager to leave the ship.
Get me out of here.
I don't like close spaces, man. I don't like close spaces.
I can't go back.
I can't go back.
I want to see what's out there.
Whoosh! There's a rush of air as the cargo bay slowly opens, and the damned red lights and sirens are back announcing your presence to everything in the immediate area, if the crash already hadn't been enough. As the loading deck lowers and settles crookedly into the mud, the smell of wet earth and sea salt rushes into the ship, carried by a strong breeze and the warm rays of some unseen and unbeknownst star. The sky swirls with hues of purple, green, and orange as though the planet was traveling through some gaseous nebula. It's beautiful, it's breathtaking, it's a little unsettling. And it's humid. It's really, really freaking humid. It's the kind of humid that seems to instantly drench you in sweat. It's the kind of humid that makes your hair look like you're a greaser that just rolled out of bed. It's the kind of humid that makes you consider a breathing apparatus because there's no possible way that this much fluid entering your lungs is a good thing. So it's humid, and around 84 degrees Fahrenheit. That's right, baby. It may be the distant future with laser guns and spaceships and shit, but I'm still using the US standard units of measurement. The chirping of strange birds and insects can be heard as you take your first steps forward into the freshly carved channel left by your improvised landing. That channel is about 11 deep and stretches the full 90-yard impact site of the crash. The soil is littered with debris from your ship and what appears to be old gears, components, and scrap distributed ages ago, all sitting in about a foot of murky water. Now you can try and climb out of this channel somehow, or you can try and walk until you find an easier way to escape. What are you all gonna do?
See how I'm 3 foot tall and I don't have any strength at all? I don't think I'm gonna be climbing out.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a perception.
Perception? Okay, everybody roll.
20.
I'll roll to 8.
I got a 20.
I
Shit.
failed.
20 plus.
So those of you listening at home that may not have played the game before, there's the dice roll, and then the characters that have been made, they may have better skills in some aspects and worse skills in others. And so for perception, they get a bonus. And or a negative, depending, especially if there's any kind of condition. Why don't we go around the table? What's everybody's perception bonus?
Plus 6.
Plus 4.
Zilch.
26.
John just smashes things.
Plus 7.
Plus 7.
Plus 5.
Not all about smashing. Slicing, dicing, maiming.
I'm not gonna touch that. Not gonna touch it.
Squish it?
So
Solara has the best perception.
yeah. So you beat out Laura Toshka by 1. So what was everyone's totals?
24.
26.
18. All right. So Laura Toshka, you specifically notice, and some of you that, I mean, if you got over 20, everyone's looking around. You notice a ladder on the ship next to the cargo bay that would allow you to access the top of the ship. All right. So
I climb up.
okay. Does every
Fine,
do you?
fine, fine.
I mean, I could ask to have somebody like Jun toss me up there, but you guys are kind of
I
just
can
running.
I'll do it if you want.
I don't say anything, I just climb.
Do you want me to toss you up there?
All right. So I mean, what was the lowest? What was the lowest perception?
9.
9. All right. So Yomi, you may not notice that there's a ladder. You're probably focused on the massive channel that's been carved down in front of you, and probably still a little shaken up by a ship crash.
Does he see me?
Does anybody mention that there's a ladder, or did you I'm sure you're gonna notice everyone starts leaving the opposite direction. But anyways,
There's a ladder over there. I believe I'll go get that. Jun, you look like a sizable fellow. Would you help me get this ladder so that we can try to get up out of this gulf?
I guess.
Well, it's attached to the ship. So think of it's just steel rungs sticking out. So if it was parked, you could get on top of the ship for maintenance. It's essentially like a maintenance ladder.
So I've climbed up and I've gone down the wing onto the raised grass area.
All right.
And I'm perceiving what I can.
So you all make it up to the top, and you get a chance to take a look around.
Now, what did you say this area was like? It's forest, beach.
So because you're on top of the, because you're actually on top of the ship, I've actually hand-drawn this little indication. Don't you dare flip those pages. I'll be so mad. Oh, I'll be so mad.
I'm gonna do another perception check unless there's something.
Yeah, no, that's great.
That's what I said I was perceiving what I
Okay.
Oh, gross.
22.
All right. So
6.
you've essentially managed to crash in the middle of a river canyon. The ship's stopped just shy of what appears to be a massive ear, larger than the ship, made of smooth stone, half buried and jutting from the earth. The canyon narrows, but extends beyond it, curving and obstructing your vision from seeing any further. To the port side of the ship, a swamp composed of multiple small bodies of water, all varying in size and most likely depth. Gnarled trees growing in and around the pools. Beyond it lies the only visible way out of the canyon, a wall that appears to have collapsed and steep, but appears to be safely climbable. For those at home, the port side of the ship is going to be the left-hand side. So if you're on top of the ship, you're looking towards the front of the ship, it's going to be the left-hand side. Starboard side of the ship is just steep canyon walls and more swampland littered in ruins and scrap.
Okay.
So basically non-traversable to the right.
To the right, you don't see it going anywhere.
What about to the front?
To the front, you've got you see a canyon that the canyon just keeps going. There's much less swampland. That's my favorite superhero. There's much less swampland, words, but you don't really get to see where it goes. The canyon veers to the left, and so it completely obstructs your vision. So as far as survivability goes, yeah, I mean you can roll a check, but
Yeah, I just want to see how like difficult the terrain would be.
okay.
Alright.
That'd be physical science. I can check
That is
physical
a 6.
science.
6.
Or is it
Look
survival?
safe.
Hold on. Is it survival or physical science?
I would say survival because
I don't have
you don't have survival.
No, can't check.
Can't roll on an untrained skill.
8.
8. Yeah,
Damn.
looks great. Looks like a great.
It looks like a party.
It could be instant death for all you know.
It doesn't look too rough over there. We can make it.
I don't know, man.
no.
I'm a little guy, and I don't think that I don't want to sink into anything, and I don't want something to swallow
Where's
me
your
out
sense
of
of
it.
adventure?
Can we see any like paths or anything that look like
You don't know me,
someone's
man.
trod
You don't know what I've
through,
been
or-
through.
I don't.
You can see that the bodies of water are broken up. So
There's-
like you can navigate around the water without ever trekking through it. But keep in mind, I mean, especially around the ship site, you can tell like if you stepped out, it's gonna be damp. So it's probably gonna be difficult terrain. Makes you move half your movement speed in a combat, but you could definitely make your way towards the fallen canyon wall.
It's even outside the combat.
Are there any areas that seem like super deep where like Jun could get through like up to his heels, but me being a 2'7", I would sink and drown? Are there like any like patches of dry land in between that could serve as respite?
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely broken up enough. Did you get a chance to look at the map?
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Yeah, it's definitely broken up enough that you can make your way in between, like
So there are portions
Yeah.
of water and
you may be like, especially a heavy character like Jun. No offense, but like you're probably gonna sink in pretty deep in places.
But because I'm so light.
But yeah, like especially the lighter characters, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Kasathans don't get hung up on difficult terrain at all.
I was just looking at that. It's desert, hill, or mountain terrain.
Okay, so you ain't a swamp race. Okay. But so I mean, what's the plan? I mean, you really have two directions at this time. Towards the south of the ship, you really see it really doesn't go anywhere. Whenever you came in, that just leads to the ocean. So
Are any signs of civilization either direction?
there's nothing at this time. That giant gear, it's ancient. Like it looks like it was made by a race of giants. Essentially, it doesn't look like anything like a man would have touched.
How about tracks?
Tracks. I mean, nothing really big, but keep in mind a like 300-foot long ship just came in, sent debris everywhere. You know, on top of already the junk that covers this place.
Right.
so it looks like we've got two options, guys. We can either go to the canyon wall over here, or go down that way, past that gear.
I think I have a coin in my pocket. If you'd like to flip it.
I think we should go to the canyon. 'Cause
I'm all for the camp.
I'd rather climb. I
I'm
want to
small.
see a larger view of where we're at.
So you're saying you want to get like a lay of the land? You want to figure out? I just get kind of eked out about swamps and I don't know. I don't know what's in there. I don't know what's under the water.
I'm pretty small. I don't exactly want
I'm
to go.
curious by nature, and I like the fact that I don't see what's around the corner in that canyon.
Well, I mean, the swamp's kind of a dangerous look, but it's the best place to get high ground, whereas going to the canyon, we could be facing a labyrinth. We don't even know what's in there.
We could have that exact challenge with the swamp. We don't know what's in that murky water.
True, but if we get up to the top, we can actually see around and maybe even see where
But
the
through
canyon
that
is.
water, to get to that cannon, we have to go through the water.
I'm with him.
So,
I mean, I'm not with him, but I like what he's
I'm
doing.
kind of a desert dweller and not very fond of leeches.
so it sounds like
alien reef.
it sounds like
Alien
we're,
reef.
Especially alien leeches.
it sounds like we're being outvoted, June.
Well, my fellow Akatonian does not want to go through the swamp. Why not?
It's
Okay.
not exactly water at Akaton.
No, there isn't. It's very dry.
All right, so are you heading north? We're heading into the canyon.
I guess. Let's go.
All right, so the party has chosen to head north of the ship to follow the canyon. There's no guarantee that you'd be able to crawl out of this cavern by traveling up to the visible collapse, nor any assurance that it's stable. The soil is still soft as you trek towards the bend. There's less swamp to this area, but more junk and rubble. It's difficult to take step without your foot brushing some component of or instrument of unknown origin. Everyone roll some perception checks. Let's see what you see in the area.
26.
11.
16.
7. I still
17.
see nothing.
I got some 20s in me.
So you notice these gnarled trees have these pod-like fruits hanging from them. They're dark, they're like a dark orange and almost shaped like eggplants. Most of the other vegetation is pretty small and sparse. The mud and junk seem to be choking it out. There's very little to be said about any complex life in this area. Every now and then you'll catch like a glance of a small, like golden and black lizard scurrying over ruins and wreckage. Shit! Gnat-like insects swarm around your ears and your eyes, but are only an annoyance. Interesting. This is maddening. There's a few mossy-looking birds that fly over you, or briefly land in or around the pools to drink or clean themselves, but nothing else. This isn't exactly odd, though. After all, you did just crash a spaceship nearby. Chances are you've scared most everything away from the immediate area.
Can I make a life science roll and see if the fruit's edible?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't trust anything that grows around trash.
What's your total?
13.
13?
13? I mean, it's hard to say just by looking at it. I mean, you've never seen this plant before, so without...
Could I try with the survival check? Maybe try to get a little bit better?
Sure.
Okay. Is it edible? Okay, there we go. That is a 20.
20. Alright, so, like, Jun, you're so tall, like, you already have, like, a better perspective, but, like, you can just instantly, like, reach over and just snag one off of the tree, and you're sitting there feeling it, and you can tell, like, if you bit into this, it's gonna be a bad time. The skin is absolute leather. But you can just rip the thing apart, and it definitely looks like something that's edible. So, the skin is not, okay, you taste it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tear the flesh off first before I dig it.
Strip the flesh, eat the fruit. So, you know, whenever you peel the skin away and you try this fruit, it's almost like a creamy, rotten texture, but it has like a salty, pungent flavor that actually leaves like a little sweet aftertaste. Like, so it finishes nicely.
Ah, mother's milk.
That's disgusting.
That is utterly disgusting. I can't believe you
Try
just
some.
ate that fruit.
Try
no,
some.
I'm not gonna eat that.
Throwing around trash, you psycho.
Delicious.
You got a little left on your mouth. Would you like some help?
No, I got it. Thank you.
I'm just picturing the step ladder you would have to climb to wipe Jun.
You know, June, you were probably like those idiots back in the day that tried different herbs to see if they were actually medicine, but some of them ended up being poison.
Was that like a backhanded compliment or
Wow.
You'll never know.
June remembers that.
insulting the 12-foot tall, four-armed bad? Always bad.
And I'm secretly over in the corner going, rage, rage, fucking rage!
Shelby just does it
Jun,
though.
just like the fruit, you just reach over to Solara and just pick it off the ground and twist it open.
Twist my head open. See my creamy brains.
The skin looks leathery, but
So I'm just gonna take a couple of those, stick them in my pack, save them for later.
Excellent.
Can you hand a few of those down to me?
Sure. How many do you need?
How many are there?
One for each arm.
4 arms.
So moving forward, the canyon wall is around 200 feet tall. You might add those to your inventory, by the way.
Do we
That
have a
way-
name? Well,
For the
we
fruit.
gotta give a name for the fruit.
Trash fruit.
Trash fruit.
Trash food.
Hereby dubbed trash fruit.
I guess trash fruit.
Are we calling it trash fruit? We're calling it trash fruit.
I told you I don't trust anything that grows
I was
around
thinking
trash.
more like mother's milk. But
I think,
AKA
I
mother's
think
milk.
trash fruit is sticking.
How
And
about
now-
mother's milk trash?
And now June's forever known as June Trash Fruit
trailer
Johnson.
trash mother's milk.
Trashy mom.
Trashy mom's
Ma.
Hey, Mom. Come on. Trash mom fruit milk.
Oh my god, can we get off it?
By Nestle.
Not a sponsor. sir.
Alright, so the canyon wall is around 200 feet tall. Its color and composition are similar to the Navajo sandstone found in Antelope Canyon. I can look up a picture if anyone would like one. Listeners at home, Google is your best friend. But it's darker. Yes.
Not a sponsor.
Google, throw us some money, yo. But darker in color with various swirls and layers of orange, red, and yellow. You all have phones.
Warm
I don't know why I'm
colors.
looking this up for you. Look up your own damn selves. And as you move further into the canyon, you start to notice much larger accumulation of like the smooth stone ruins, and the canyon walls are starting to narrow, almost creating a canopy over the valley. What little noises you had heard earlier have completely diminished.
Skittles is freaked out. He doesn't like narrow spaces, so he's gonna draw a weapon.
Okay. What weapon are you drawing?
I am drawing my semi-auto pistol tactical.
Okay.
I'm really freaked out and I'm
Boomstick.
shaking.
Skittles' like shaky freakiness is also making Solara more wary, so she also pulls out her rifle.
And everyone's starting to get that like you're on like a strange planet, like nobody knows where you're at, which I don't think anyone's even like rolled to see if they know where this planet is, have they? No one's made like
I think
So
it's the
that'd be a
last.
physical science check?
it could be a physical science. I
Or
mean,
just regular perception.
yeah, or like
But like just the fact that this canyon is narrowing and the space
Yeah.
around me is getting smaller and smaller is really freaking me out, and I'm like visibly shaking.
Claustrophobic.
I got a 24 on perception for the planet.
Skittles is pretty well traveled, if my knowledge or memory serves me correctly.
Once
because
upon a
words are freaking hard. But even in all of Skittles' travels, they have never come across this planet. There is no information regarding it, and so even though your check was excellent, I don't think it was the right skill check.
Okay.
What were you checking for?
I wanted to see what, like, if I knew anything about the planet that we're on, like what belt or like what planet it was, what kind of environment it was.
What's the atmosphere like?
It's normal. It's breathable. You all are fine. Even if
it's
you have,
daytime.
yeah, it's well. I mean, as far as you know, like there's light, but there's no visible source of it.
I was mostly checking for like location.
I mean, it's
Like,
warm.
in-
Stars is what
yeah.
I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other checks? Any other?
No, I'm just freaking out.
High science.
Jun's just kind of giggling at everybody's nervousness.
Oh.
Fuck you, man. You ruined it.
You're freeing yourself a little bit.
Jun prefers it.
All right. So it's narrowing. Yeah. All noises have pretty much completely diminished. Any kind of signs of life. It's all starting to go away.
Skittles is gonna hang back.
Moving forward, the canyon curves to the left and continues to narrow. After about half an hour of walking, you've reached the end of the canyon, and you see a dark opening of a cave. What do?
I don't think we should be going in a cave, guys. I mean, I don't think there's anything that we can really find that'll help us in a cave.
We've made it this far, we might as well go
Say-
farther.
Pick this direction, we're going.
Don't make me turn this car around.
Perception check.
Perception check?
I'll do a
19.
perception check as well.
All right.
I'm gonna turn my.
You 19 as well.
I have a flashlight. I'm gonna put it in one of my 6 hands. I've got a gun in one hand and a flashlight in the other. Is there anything that I can see in the opening with a perception?
Well, I'll say you're handy. All right. So for the high perceptions, I heard 2 19s. Skittles, you're a little too freaked out. I saw that roll.
Yeah.
But,
That's why I didn't announce it.
but I'm a filthy die looker. That was looker, not hooker, you bastards. But with that, so the cave's entrance is narrow. It's only 6 feet wide, about 10 feet tall, and it stands open like a large wound in the face of the canyon. There's a ton of clutter outside of the entrance, but the entrance isn't at all cluttered. It appears as though someone or something may have removed the debris in order to gain access to the cave. you also notice relatively large humanoid tracks heading towards the inside of the cave.
How relatively large? Like bigger than me?
Am I able to make
Like
these
my whole
travel
body
checks?
is its foot?
Yeah, well, that is the correct course of action. We'll need a survival check.
I don't have survival.
Am I allowed to take a 20 or a 10 on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, 24 if I can take a 20.
Yeah, it really doesn't take long. I mean, these are big tracks. You can't tell what it is, but you can tell that whatever left them was around 6-7 feet tall. So not as big as you, but they're really abnormally wide and really deep. So this thing probably weighed close to 500 pounds.
Heavy. Not tall, but heavy.
Hey, I'm trying to
How
lose
much
weight.
do you weigh?
Me?
Never escalate!
June? 12 feet tall.
God, you all are brave. Asking a show bad what it weighs.
Let's say around 600.
I'm thinking, like, this thing has had shits bigger than me.
Next thing you're gonna do is play Jun in chess.
Well, Jun is legitimately curious. He wants to go in and explore. He's not dumb though. He's gonna draw his hammer.
Okay.
So what do you
I-
think it is?
I am
Well, it's
definitely
not as
curious.
big as me, so
I'm definitely curious myself because
it's heavy though.
I would like to see what this new life form is.
Do you see
Or
this
who it
footprint?
is.
Do you see how deep it is? The thing's got some mass to it.
By the way, Skittles, you've only got 5 usable hands. There's always a cigar in that one.
Don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me!
You
calms
get
my
behind
nerves.
that.
I'm just throwing this out there, guys. I think going into a dark cave where, there's a creature we're not sure about, this just doesn't seem like a good idea to me.
It's not that dark.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't want to go in that.
Well, you hear a distant voice. Go back to the cave, it's fine! Wow, that was weird.
Yummy, what do you
Looking
think? Yummy,
very,
help.
We have a whole bunch of big people. They'll protect us.
Yeah,
I hope.
Just stand behind the big ones.
But what if they fall on me?
Stand way behind.
Don't worry, I'll yell timber.
Alright, so you all have decided to move forward, correct?
Correct.
Much to Solara's dismay.
Very much.
And Skittles' dismay.
Very much.
But outvoted. Okay.
I'm in the rear.
Solara gives a huge sigh.
I wouldn't say that was a huge sigh.
Well, I can't sigh usually as a girl very well, I'm sorry.
I've never tried.
That sounds like I'm in love sigh, though, and I'm not in love with the situation.
So you've decided to move forward into the cave, and you already find yourselves enveloped in darkness. Very little light appears to be making it past the cave entrance, but you notice it's about 10 degrees cooler, and you're most likely very happy about that.
It's a little cold in here.
So you will need a light source to proceed.
Will I?
I have dark
Well,
vision and a
And that's-
flashlight.
oh yeah, that's very. I mean, who has dark vision? What
Me.
race is it?
I have
Jun
low,
does.
I have low light vision.
Skittles,
Yomi.
Yomi, and Jun have dark vision, at least.
Low light vision will probably give you about just maybe 10 feet
I was
from
gonna
here
say-
without a light source.
I do have a flashlight.
So, being as how I have dark vision, I could hand off my flashlight to
I
someone
don't
who
have
doesn't.
good vision at the dark. Would you mind if I use your flashlight?
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Yeah, here.
Thank you.
So my dark vision reaches, it says, you can see in the dark, black and white only up to 60 feet. That's what dark vision is for our characters.
Okay.
To the listeners.
So the cave opens into a slightly larger cavern that allows you all access to the room. However, the entire floor is almost completely littered in heaps of junk and refuse, and it reeks of mildew and mold. A path has been carved out of the clutter that leads further into the cave. It's just wide enough to allow you to travel single file without someone having to walk on the uneven junk. So you all are aware, I will consider the junk difficult terrain. As you advance into the cave, the walls begin to narrow and snake. Some of you may even find yourselves having to squeeze through areas. John, I'm looking at you. The further you venture, the more moisture you find accumulated on the. Wow. That's all, folks. See you next episode. but you're having to squeeze your way through areas. The further you venture, the more moisture you find accumulated on the earthen walls. Yes, Solar.
Are we gonna have to like make a formation? Like, is it too,
Yeah, it's single file.
So we're gonna have to figure out who's going first.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
I'm in the back. Skittles is in the back.
I'm in front of Yomi. Or Skittles.
Yomi's in front of Skittles.
I'll be behind.
I suggest we file in by size.
So June 1st.
That makes
And
sense
then
because you're like,
Lord
what, 2
Toshka,
inches
then
taller
me,
than I am?
then-
Yeah.
So the party order is Jun, Alor Toshka, Solara, Yomi, and Skittles. The floor is slick from pools of dark water. The slimy and smooth red rock almost resembles some open wound that you are traversing through. In the distance, you hear a brief, faint echo. There's a low rumbling and a distant, short scream.
I stop. What was that?
Perception check time.
Not yet. I mean, there's really nothing to perceive. You're in a single file line right now.
It's probably just some local cave-dwelling creature, nothing to worry.
It could be. We should probably actually check that out.
You want to go towards the screaming?
Why not?
What if it's a person that's being hurt?
I don't care about that person.
It could be someone in need
care
of
about my
medical
person.
attention. It could be some interesting creature that I haven't seen before. So, either way, I'm going forward.
I'm with Skittles on this. This is a terrible idea.
I'm moving forward. You guys are a bunch of sissies.
I'm with June.
Stick with the show bad.
Alright. On an alien planet, you want to stick with the Shobat. You push on, and eventually you come to another opening. It's smaller than the initial cavern you had just stepped into, but heaped with just as much garbage and debris. Now it's time for perception checks. Roll them. As you take out Yomi.
23.
22.
It's an 11 on me
7.
with dark vision.
23.
23.
Hey.
Yay.
Alright, so if you got 11 or less, you're probably looking around. You see dark ribbons of what appear to be seaweed are strewn over the refuse, and the cavern reeks of salt and fish. You know that really dirty, like dead fish smell, like anytime you like go to the beach or something, like a pier.
Maybe I should eat one of these fruits.
Scanning the cavern, you notice that the walls are porous here. Now, 12 to 15, upon further inspection, you notice small marble-like spheres covering much of the visible surface. They're coated in some mucus-like membrane. Now, for those of you rolling higher, in the middle of the pathway on some of the refuse, you notice some spots of blood that have sprayed onto the junk. It appears to be relatively fresh given the environment. Blood would have washed away or faded in this area after a short period of time.
I see the blood. So, guys, do you see this blood over here? We should not be going this way. This is dangerous.
I'm kind of interested in what these spheres are. Let's take a closer look at those.
Skittles draws in one of his free hands now that he doesn't have a flashlight. I'm going to draw my tactical dueling sword.
Do I
Gun
need-
in one hand and a sword in the other.
Do I need to do a life sign?
Did you shine your light on them? Good enough. So, by shining your light into them, you notice that these look like eggs. You can see a visible embryo inside. For those of you that rolled high enough, I think we had a 23. That was Alora Toshka, and 22. You both. As your eyes scan the room, you notice these like long gashes in the ceiling. You know, the cavern that moved further in. Like something was scraping. Strange stalactites hang from the cavern that appear to be covered in junk and refuse. And you notice that these stalactites, they are slightly twitching. The light catches what appears to be eyes, and the four stalactites flinch. They drop to the ground with a thud. Their bodies raise, revealing 6 legs and a set of clawed arms. 2 stopped, pitch-black eyes peer out from underneath their trash-covered shell.
No,
Oh my,
thank
what do
you.
we have here?
They resemble hermit crabs, but are about the size of a golden retriever. Now, you sons of bitches, roll for initiative.